Good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. Today is Tuesday, December 30th. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday trading. Hopefully everybody stayed in the green, or most of you at least stayed in the green. We'll take a little poll here in a little bit. As far as high impact news, obviously we've got FOMC meeting minutes. Actually, isn't that on Tuesday? Isn't it usually on Wednesdays? Maybe for the holiday? But yeah, that's coming out today at 1 p.m. Yeah, maybe for the holiday or the holiday day. They moved it up a day. All right, so what do we got brewing? On the NQ, we've got a signal to go long at the 25,600, targeting the 25,610 and the 620. With a stop at the 25,589. And on the ES, we've got a long at the 69.3350, targeting the 69.37 and the 69.3950. We did get close. We did finally tap into this unbalanced volume that was sitting at TP1 at the 69.37. I think we're still far enough here where it was just a wick, so it's just a really quick retest here of this unbalanced volume. So still interested in taking a look at how this trade might play out here this morning. As far as price action on the ES in general, it's not really able to find any setup from the upside. If you take a look, pretty much yesterday from market open, which was right around here on this spike, pretty much stayed in this pretty tight range once again. And you know, when we get market conditions like this, it becomes difficult with volume to find any unbalanced volume. The NQ gives us a little bit more opportunities, even though in a range does break structure a lot more. So hopefully here we can find something this morning. We do have a pretty strong reactionary point here, sitting from the 25,778s to the 794s. Might look to possibly take a scalp here, probably targeting about 10 to 15 points. And we've got this 15-minute level that's sitting on the higher side of this band. So the only issue that I have here is that we could possibly get a sweep into this level. So a short just strictly from the bottom of this unbalanced area might not be the best play yet. And then same situation up here, we're in a weekly band. So our weekly band is starting from the 25,910 to the 25,833. Same scenario as yesterday, where you know, depending on how price action comes up into this band, or bands I should say, I will look for some unbalanced volume on the higher time frame down below to target, typically with a 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward on these, because of the fact that there's, you know, you could play the weekly band. Yesterday you would have obviously done extremely well just playing the weekly band. If I bring this up on a chart, like such here. On the NQ, you can see how many taps into this weekly band, and just on your first initial tap you could have seen the power of that weekly band there, which probably stretched for 120 points off of that volume band. But you can see how many times we've re-tapped into this band, which they just can't get past. And that's what I always keep mentioning in my videos. You know, it'll take FOMC today. It could take headline news, high impact news, or multiple retaps to finally break through these bands. But you can see how powerful they obviously are. And this technique of finding, because here's how I see it. Okay, this weekly band is roughly 70, almost 80 points. Okay, so this weekly band is 80 points. Now, if I was just to play the weekly band off of a tap and then a rejection, I can tell you right now, you're going to have a very good win rate at probably a 1-to-1 or maybe even a little less risk to reward just playing the band. Now, obviously, you'd have to scale down on a trade like that. You know, you've got to scale down on your position size, depending on your account size, or if you're playing this with an evaluation or a funded account. Like for instance, on me, I scale down to about 2 micros, and I can get a little bit more aggressive as the R starts to increase on the trades that I take. But for the purpose of my explanation here, so we've already identified that the range of the weekly band is about 80 points. So what I like to do is I like to chop the weekly band up into 2 to 3, whatever the market shows me, of unbalanced areas inside of that band. And now I can reduce my risk per trade or per scalp down to about 12 points of risk. Okay, again, targeting that 1-to-4, 1-to-5, which is really nice. And if I have, let's say, 3 of those reactionary points, like how you saw yesterday, if you have those 3 reactionary points, now your total risk is about, let's say you had to take all 3 of them. Or you can, I honestly, throughout all of my back testing and how I've traded this in the past, I've taken the reaction on the first band for about 4R. And then when price action comes up to the second band, I take the second trade as well. And I'm just targeting the new unbalanced area down here that, you know, has not been tapped into. Sometimes with a 1-to-6, 1-to-7R on the secondary trade. But if you add up all 3 of these reactionary points, you're probably looking at about 45 points of risk. And the 45 points of risk sounds a lot better than the 80 points of risk on a trade for the entire band. And that band, obviously, some of them can be 100, some of them can be a little less, a little bit more. So that is my methodology to why you're seeing these reactionary points that I find in the market, and how I intend to play them. Caught the NQ signal, was on micros. That's all right. I traded those with micros too. I was on 5 micros yesterday on that scalp. Nothing wrong with that. And you can see here on that 3rd reactionary point, this is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. You know, the trade that I took yesterday, obviously I got stopped out by 1.5 points just to see it run up the 55 points that I needed. But you can see that this last reactionary point that was in this weekly band that I found, you know, this missed it by about 3 or 4 points. Okay, so, and you can see how strong the reaction is off of these areas of unbalanced volume. So, yeah, sometimes you'll miss them by a point or two. I get it. But these are much stronger areas than just let's just say, a typical scalp that I'm looking for 12 to 15 points. So good morning, Coach Cleats. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Steve. Michael, good morning. Mace, good morning. Let's get it here this morning. I'd love to take a few trades here this morning. Kind of see how FOMC plays out. All right, let's see who was in the red or in the green yesterday. Again, if I could vote, I would have been in the green. Mike, that's the story of all of our lives, man. Sometimes we, like I always say, I think the market always has a way of balancing itself out. So sometimes you miss a trade, that's a winner. Sometimes you miss a trade, that's a loser. Eventually, I think that the universe has a way of balancing things out. But I know it definitely feels like more things work against us than they do for us, but alright, let's see what I can find here now. So these little shaded boxes that I draw up on my screen, these should be reactionary points. You know, something like this we would be looking at. And these are just quick scalps off of the lower time frame. Another thing on the lower time frame, obviously, you know, these areas, because of the fact that they're not in bigger unbalanced volume areas, the win rate will significantly be less than what my traditional 78 to 80% win rate has always been hovering around. These are going to be a little bit less, but again, if you're if you're just trying to get some scalps in, these are where you want to kind of, instead of just kind of going in blind, stop loss. So that's what like that setup there would look like. And if you want, we'll take a small scalp here. And then this one down here would look like this. Only issue we got is we obviously got the market open here in about 11 minutes, so price action starts getting a little wonky. So definitely wouldn't be in this trade probably 5 minutes before the market, and then hopefully let it rest for a good 8 to 10 minutes. Super small position sizing, just two micro contracts. And again, I would give this, I would honestly give this trade only a few more minutes if it wants to get up there or not. Because right around that 8:25, about 5 minutes prior to the market open, starts getting a little wonky. Nice. All right, so far 62% green, 38% red. We'll probably bring that average up to about 65. So I'll give this trade maybe about another minute and a half, 2 minutes here for the short. Just because for the market open, just so you guys can understand, you know, if this was a normal market environment, let's just say 8:45 Central Time, so 15 minutes after the market opens, this right here is a natural place that the market at the open is going to want to target. Okay, hopefully we know that. You got a 5 minute level right here that broke structure. You definitely have a lot of people betting on a short here. So this is going to be a natural stop loss area. So when you start getting the algorithms that start kicking in 5 minutes prior to market open, up until, you know, 10 minutes after the market opens, this is natural areas that they're going to want to sweep. So we don't want to be here in a scenario where we get a sweep situation. So hopefully you guys understand that. So with that being said, I'm going to cancel that one. We'll take a look, obviously, at price action, how it develops going into it. And then for this one, feel a little better about this long if we don't make a big push to the downside, but we'll see. Might have to cancel both of them. Alright, so we're getting to almost about that 825 time, so I'm going to take both of my orders off here, and then at this point just kind of watch price action to see how it develops. You know, these areas, you know, at the market open are going to be very difficult to get defended because they are on the lower time frame. They are not in higher time frame unbalanced areas, so these plays here are not going to be the greatest right at the market open. But as market develops, and I'll just keep marking these out, you guys have seen me do this now for a couple of weeks, and what I have been noticing over the last week of price action is that now majority of my I would say almost 90% of my reactionary points have been getting respected, which is great because that's how I see the market, and that just tells me that the blend of the December and March contracts on the NQ and the ES, we're starting to kind of filter through that, and we're now basing it off of what the higher time frame volume profile will look like. And as much as I hate seeing this this last weekly band area reactionary point, so much as I hate seeing it, it's not a trade that I'm very interested in yet anymore, just because of what I've already explained. We have tapped into this weekly band here. This is on the 15-minute. I would say probably over 12 times. So now the likelihood of it breaking through finally is much stronger. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I feel like I might be coming down with something here. I might be picking up the new boat today or tomorrow. Originally going to try for Thursday, but said it might be ready this afternoon. Should be nice because then we could probably take it tomorrow to the Boca Sandbar area. My sister-in-law's down with her kids. Got another friend that's staying near us with their kids, so got about 7 or 8 kids with us. So they should have some fun. Right, give me 1 second, I gotta blow my nose, sorry. Sorry about that. All right, let's see if it does a little sweep here, or if the reaction is all right. See, there you go, TP1. Let's see if they take TP2. I don't think they did it yet. They might have tapped into TP2 right there. Right there, TP1, TP2. Perfect reactionary points, minimal drawdown. We see this every single time, which is great because that's just reconfirming everything that I'm seeing. We jump down to the 1 here. And then let's take off this IB right now just to clean up our chart just a little bit. All right. So hopefully you guys saw the power of that, of these unbalanced areas. I mean, this is the whole thesis of my trading strategy. Now I would think that at this point they come after the stops that are sitting right over here. That would be a natural place for the market open to just pick up some liquidity. Anybody brave enough to take this one at the market open? Two chicken, yeah. Did you see that? Secondary retap right into our entry line at the 25,731. I mean, to the tick. And that was again the reactionary point the market needed. Now I would highly anticipate the sweep of the 745s. I don't think that's going to be any type of protected high. And these come obviously a lot more often in the market. I'll do my best obviously to keep marking them up. And they don't always hold perfectly like how this one did, but I would say at least 85 to 90% of the reactionary points hold for a decent 10 to 15 point scalp. And then obviously when this corresponds with a higher unbalanced area, that's how a signal then is born. Because it's just adding one more piece of unbalanced volume into the puzzle that makes them so strong. And I'll get rid of this one, guys, here in a little bit. To me, the market's poised for a mini breakout one way or the other here, because it's got a lot of volume right here. It's got a lot of volume right here. So it's going to want to tap into that. And the ES does the same thing here, guys. The only issue with the ES is that on days like this where they're so tight, they're just less frequent. When they come, they're super strong, but they're definitely less frequent than the NQ, just because of how the NQ moves. And another thing too is that you could take these with lower position size, 2-3 micros, 4 micros. And for Maceface, who was saying that he took the signal yesterday with 1 micro. Well, one thought of discipline. Let's see if we can capture this guy here. So we might get a pretty explosive move here once we pass this TP1. So I do run that little risk here, but again, these come so often that it's just you're kind of playing the win rate on them. But for Maceface, that was talking about the position sizing and calling it a day after the win. For a very long time, a very, very long time, and I was even doing it up until maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I kind of had a rule where if I was in the green for the day, that's why my trade count got so small. But if I took a signal or if there was a setup that I really liked, let me just get rid of this so we can you can see that one did its job. It worked out. After a win, I would just call it a day, and you'll see your day win rates start to increase dramatically. And I would allow myself, if I took a loss, I'd allow myself 1 extra trade to get break even. And then if I did get break even, I'd allow myself 1 extra trade to be in that same rule of taking no more than 2 losses in a day, because after the second loss, I would be done no matter what. And it builds discipline. And then when you combine that with scaling, if I was a newer trader, or if I was trying to get my footing on a new strategy, I would start with 1 micro, trade that for a week, see if your P&L increased or if it decreased. If it increased, you could then jump to 2 micros. Go the week, see how your P&L either increases or decreases, and then you can, in a matter of 1 to 2 months, you can most likely, depending on what your win rate is, you can get back up to like the 5 or 6 micros, which is half of a E-mini position size, and just keep working your way up. And the beauty of that strategy is that as you're working your way up, your balance is obviously increasing, which is also giving you the added sizing that you would need to increase 1 extra micro. Now, if you're starting with, a couple $100 or $1,000, you're gonna have to stay in the lower micro area for a little bit more time, but I don't think I have this ATM strategy set at 2 targets. I think it's just set at 1. Now if we tap in here, to me TP2 looks like it's pretty well in play. We'll see. Don't want to see them balance out 7 of 1s. So right here, if they balance this out, then this trade starts looking a little bit more iffy. And guys, this is what the market needs to do. I mean, it does this all day long. If it leaves unbalanced areas, it wants to rebalance them out before visiting a new area. Now this trade here becomes a little less likely. So now this win rate here does definitely decrease, just because we had a really nice target up here that would have made my TP1 and TP2 super clean. So we'll kind of have to see now here how price action develops coming down into it. Yeah, they've balanced out a lot there. So they're going to take out probably the 699s once again, which is right here. Let's see if they do that, right where my cursor is at. And the market's very efficient. It'll If it misses it by a point or a couple ticks, it'll come right back into it and finish out and balance out that area. It's very, very efficient how the markets run. All right, so you can see they just tapped right into that. Now, and again, to me, this setup here now is a little bit less. I mean, personally, I would have loved to seen a very easy, unbalanced area sitting above my TP2. See, everything that they leave, 91s, they just tapped into it again. think at this point, guys, I'm going to sit this one out. I don't like how they've balanced out. Both of our TPs here now have been pretty balanced out pretty well. So I don't see enough reason for me to put risk on, as small of a risk as it is, on a trade like that. And again, it could very easily work out, I get it. But I just got to stick to what I see. So Isha? It's probably said that wrong, but I do. So I trade my oil, gold, and my Rob reversal every single day. Now the only issue is that since I've been down in Florida, in my house in Chicago, I've got two trading stations. I've got my studio set up downstairs where I live stream, and then I've got my trading station from where I've been trading for the last 4 or 5 years. And the nice thing about that setup is that I had all of my automated strategies running with gold, oil, and the 15-minute Rob reversal there. But here in my place here in Florida, I'm just limited to my laptop, and it's just too much. So for the last 3 or 4 trading days, I haven't, and I won't be trading that till about the 7th of January. So hopefully you guys understand kind of the theory here as to why I'm not interested in this scalp any longer, even though, you know, you're going to have definitely better than a 50-50 chance. See how high the reactionary points are right next to it. Market seems very skittish right now. What's it so worried about? I don't know. All right, so that was the initial tap. Let's see if yeah, I don't see much to be left that was unbalanced. I mean, TP1, not really. No, I mean, even TP1 doesn't look fantastic for me. I mean, it could obviously hit it, and it could lose out on 10. Oh shit! There you go. What do I know? What do I know? I could find the areas pretty damn well, but damn, that was a pretty drastic move right there. Sure did. And we could do this all day long, guys. Oh, shoot. Give me 1 second, guys. I know that they're doing a fire alarm test here. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, might have to jump on mute for a little bit. They're going to be doing some fire alarm testing. All right, let's see what else we can. What else is available here? Well, I said I didn't take the trade, but I totally forgot that I had my resting limit order on my Top Step X account, so that worked. For $87. Here's a question for you guys that I couldn't find out. If anybody can help me out with this. Does anybody know on Top Step X how to your trade confirmations? How to show like where the executions were? I thought it was like how TradingView is, but I was looking forever yesterday and I could not find it. So if anybody knows that and can give me a tip on that, I would really appreciate that. So I got 15 points on that trade right there. Again, just 3 micros. And I'm done for the day on the Top Step X. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You know, I've been trading this very simple. Just one, you know, after the first one you trade, you just kind of call it a day. So here we've got an unbalanced volume area. Again, lower time frame. So this would look something like this. I also don't want you guys to get the impression that every single one of these are going to hit. So these are lower time frame. Alright, I've been getting a lot of complaints that the music is just too low, but there, I dropped it down there a few decibels. I don't know if decibels is the right word for it, but... so nobody's got any... nobody understands how to turn on executions on in Top Step X? Like, so you can see them on your chart where the trade actually was taken and closed. I could not find it anywhere, and I tried even Googling it and didn't really get anything on it. I thought I had a... an ATM set up with my 2 that I could do multiple targets with, but I don't see it. All right, lowered it just a tad more. This is not my, obviously I'm in Florida right now at our place in Florida, so it's a different trading setup than my studio. Kind of different equipment, so just had to make just a few slight adjustments. Okay, wheel cog chart data. Let's see if that works. Thought I did that, but let's see. Settings, bottom left. I don't know, man. I don't see it. Chart settings, bottom left. We've got time, scale, no overlapping indicator, indicator's name, high and low price, nothing there. Canvas, nothing there. Status line, nothing there. Symbol, nothing there. I don't see it. I mean, I could be an idiot. Maybe this cogwheel? It's the same thing. I don't know. I don't see it. Above the TV button. Oh, this. Oh, okay. I got you. Now I understand. All right. Let me just make sure that my... Yay. Let's see here. Hotkeys, privacy, charts and data. Show chart execution. Save. See? See the power of working together as a team? Beautiful. Even though I wish that that was in black, but... Alright, cool. Thanks, man. Alright, so let's take a look at some scenarios from the top side. Remember, we are going into a 15-minute level here at the 25,792. And sorry, I know there's some work that's being done outside. There's some fire equipment people that are changing stuff. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I hear an impact drill behind me. So here again, play would be, you know, once we get closer to this unbalanced area, I'm going to have a much bigger target here, guys. It's going to be a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 type of target. I kind of explained the reasoning behind this. This is sitting in a pretty big weekly band from the 25,910 down to the 25,833. So it's about 80 points. And what I like to do is I like to carve out areas that, just like how I find here, okay? But since this is on the much higher time frame for me, I can have bigger targets in that scenario. So the benefit of cutting them up into the areas that I see unbalanced volume is the stop loss then stays at around 12 points, 13 points, somewhere in that vicinity. And then if you've got, let's say, 3 of them, like I do in this situation here, you know, 3 times 12 is 36, let's just say 40 points of risk, which is much better than just having an entry at the bottom of this weekly band and trying to target 1-to-1, because this is a pretty big trade. You get a much better risk to reward on your trades, and your risk is cut in significantly. So everybody understands what the heck I'm doing. Alright, so now the beauty of this is on this trade down here, we are now sitting in a higher unbalanced area based on this move, which now sits this whole entire area here. So if I had to no, I actually like where we're at. I like that. I like this. I like this entry right here a lot, actually. I like that entry a lot. Let's see here. I thought I had some. So I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to buy it with this one. So that's giving me 4 micros. Should have 2 targets on this entry. So I could place a target at TP1 or TP2. We'll see what happens. Click the settings button left on the top. You can change the color. Cool. Appreciate that. Alright, so not bad morning. I mean, obviously I have not been able to take a trade yet. Well, minus my Top Step X account. But 2 areas I found there that had high reactionary points, both for TP1, TP2. Hopefully we can go 3 for 3. Let's see. Oh man, they're at my door. Give me 1 sec. I have a feeling the guy told me that they're going to be here till 12:30, so he's going to need access into inside of my side of the house. So any suggestions on a boat name? Gotta name the boat. For those of you guys that weren't on stream yesterday, I've had a center console here for a very long time. Did serve me well, but I have not done really any fishing, and the kids and the wife were always asking for more of a fun boat. As you guys know, the center consoles pretty much have that little deck seat in the back, and then a small little what do you call it, like a swim platform in the front with some cushions. So, but it wasn't really conducive to, like, you know, a day out in the waters, just kind of having leisure. For me it was. I mean, I loved it, and I think it's one of the safest and best boats to have out in the ocean. So then decided to pick up a deck boat. So very open platform, open seating, seats about 12 people. It's nice, but now I just got to figure out a boat name. So I think tonight, the plan was to pick it up on Thursday, but I think now we might either pick it up today or tomorrow. So we're gonna have a little mini session with the family to see what kind of name we come up with. Shock. Yeah, on these I do. These come pretty damn quick. You could obviously, you can go in with a footprint as well. Only thing is that the reactionary points are so quick on these that you know, in that last trade, or on both of the trades that were before that, you put in you look for your footprint confirmation, which I'm not sure if you got it on that trade or not. But if you did, your TP1 was probably cut in half on both of them because the tap was right to the entry, to the tick. SS Minnow. I was thinking good times, but I feel like that's kind of played out. I see that on a lot of boats. My wife didn't give me a suggestion. She's like, why don't you just why don't you incorporate, you know, the real estate business and the trading business into something? So I'm like, well, what about buy low, sell high? But I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy on the water. I think that's so stupid. I typically use the footprint on most of my signals. I'm using my footprint chart. Definitely on my IB, my initial balance trades, I'm using my footprint chart. You just kind of caught me with one here that I'm just not looking at on these just because of the high reactionary points, which I know come with most of my signals, but I don't know, Arshak. I don't have a really good answer for that right now. I guess it's just the feeling I have right now. It's like a gray. I don't know. It's kind of like a grayish beige with black. I got somebody coming in. I was thinking about doing the. What is it? EVA flooring, the padded flooring that they put like the nice pattern on it. I was thinking about doing it myself. I watched some YouTube videos on it. I don't know, the whole template thing seems like it's gonna be a pain in the ass. I think I could figure it out. I'm pretty handy. But I got a guy coming in on Saturday to give me a quote on that. That's nice because it makes the decking super slip resistant. It looks cool as shit. So we're in Deerfield Beach, and I absolutely love it. Deerfield Beach is about 25 minutes from the airport from Fort Lauderdale. We sit in between Pompano Beach and like Pompano Lighthouse and Boca, so we're in the middle of it. We bought it because when I came down, like 13, 14 years ago, and I had an agent out here. I'm licensed obviously in Illinois, but I had an agent, a Remax agent out here show me. I came down like 3 times, so we went from pretty much like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, all the way down to like West Palm Beach, and then we visited units in those areas. We got some. It definitely gets a little bit of volatility there come into the market. So I just visited them all, and I just tried to get a feeling for all of the areas. I mean, I've always visited Miami and Fort Lauderdale, so I knew what I was going to kind of get there. And we really liked Pompano. Not West Palm Beach, Palm Beach. Palm Beach, the only issue that I found with it was, you know, when you cross over the bridge to where a lot of the residences are, there's just not a lot there. There's not a lot of like grocery restaurants, beautiful beaches, but came to Deerfield Beach, and just to me, it just had such this like family-friendly vibe to it. The downtown's not super huge. Obviously, gets a lot of tourists during the winter months, which is pretty common in Florida. I think anywhere you go. But we settled on Deerfield Beach, and for 13, 14 years, however long we've been down here, it's the best decision we made. Market slowed down here just a tad. Market to me just seems very sketchy. Like it doesn't seems hesitant. I'd rather them not tap into TP2 if we can if I can get my way. So we did not get entry there. Missed that entry by a... God bless it, man. Are you kidding me? That's canceling this order. Did you see that? A tick for TP1. And now take out TP2. Why don't you? It's frustrating. That's really frustrating. Anybody get filled on that? I did not. Oh, I did get filled. Shit. Forgot that I'm on. Damn. Positions. Flat and everything. Holy shit. How did that happen? Oh, because this is on the NQ. So my leaders on the NQ didn't get filled, but my end, the micros, which are all, it's all copy traded to micros, all got filled. Okay. I guess I'll take that. Fuck yeah, I'll take that. Holy moly. I don't know, something doesn't seem right there. My PNL is way too high. I'm at $149 on all 4 micros, 15 points. What's the fast math on that? Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, okay, I'll take that. So we missed it on the NQ, but it executed on the micros. It's very strange. And it didn't even... I don't think it even hit TP2. Or maybe it did on... No, it didn't. This would have been the next candle right there. Anybody get filled on the micros? I didn't get in on the micros. It's very bizarro. Very bizarro. I don't know. I would say this probably came 22. So that would have been, yeah, about 13.5 points. Let's call it 13. I did flatten my position because I know that was still open when I went to go do it. Let me just do a calculator here. 13 points times 4 times 2. Okay. Yeah, it still doesn't make sense to me. Connections, tools, open P&L window. All right, let me ask you another question here, chat. Since you guys are pretty on the spot with this. All right, let me ask you if this is plausible here, because something isn't making sense as far as the P&L is concerned. Let me see if I can put this on screen. It's oh, sorry. This is probably not going to work, but let me just see if this works here. Okay, so this is my P&L right here somewhere, I guess over here. 2054. So that's 2 cash accounts, and funded accounts. There is, let's see, let me just count here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 funded accounts, 10 2 cash accounts. So 14 accounts in total. Each of them are at a profit of $149. Now, as my NQ trade did not get triggered, right? But it obviously got me into the trade. And I have them cross-traded to the micros. Now, when I was able to flatten that position, I saw on the chart that the price action was right around here, like the 1716s. You know, I could probably just look at my executions so I could say exactly. I have a feeling that even though that this was set to cross trade to the micros, that this picked up NQs. No, that wouldn't make any sense because that would have been 4 NQs. I don't know. I honestly can't understand the reasoning there. But I will take it. I will take it. Alright, so even though this one obviously missed by a tick on the NQ, the reaction point was where we wanted it to be. Now let's see what else we can identify here. So we have an area right here, but this did not break structure. It did not break structure yet, so that to me is not the greatest. Nothing yet, so we're gonna kind of have to camp out. I don't know about this one here down here, but let's see what's going on with the ES. This ES has just been very difficult, man. The last like 3-4 weeks on the ES has been very difficult to get anything meaningful. I got to agree with you, Michael. I have no idea. I have no idea. And the crazy part is this doesn't make sense because when I clicked on my control panel, my P&L was at like 198, almost 220. I think it was like between 198. I saw 2, and then by the time I panicked and went to go flatten position, it was down to the 140s. It almost makes me seem like it ended up taking 4 E-minis. Because it only would have been like 6 points in profit when... No, it couldn't be 4. That's too much. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. And I obviously went and I canceled. So once we missed it by a tick, and it pretty much shot right up to TP1, you guys saw I went to go I canceled that leader, the leader on the NQ. But something did make me think about going and look at my open position tab. I didn't look at the open position, I just looked at the accounts and I saw everything was moving and it was all green. So I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'll be right back. Man, I've been talking to myself for so long. Sorry about that. I'm telling you, the setup down here is just a little bit more wonky. So, all right, so I'm going to start all over again because I got a question for the chat. TP Master. Ooh, I like that. TP Master, I like that. Yeah, keep the boat names coming because I'll throw them in a hat. I'll put, when we talk to the family tonight and we come up with our name, I'll say, okay, well, the chat overwhelmingly liked this name, or these were a few that we got from the chat. What was I going to say? Okay, so here's a question I have. So, obviously, I've stated many times that I have reduced my position sizing for about the last 2 weeks based on the performance of the signals, of my signals, and the way I was looking at the markets for the first 2 weeks of December, last week of November. I said, okay, the prudent thing would be is to, let's just cut it in half. So move to like the 5 micros, which on my signals, like 25-600, I would take that with, 4 or 5 micros. These bigger trades that I'm looking for 4R, 5R, I'm taking these with 2 micros. I took I was gonna take the reactionary 0.1s that I've been finding with like 4 micros, but I wanted to trade them off of the NQ chart because I when I look at the micro NQ, it's very wiki. I know the NQ is wiki as well, but the micro seems to be very, very wiki. So I wanted to base the chart, and since I already had the charts all set up with the NQ, I wanted to stay on the NQ. So what I did was, and this is just something that I thought about, how I was going to get my leader account to trade such a big size, because my leader account now has to trade 4 E-minis, 5 E-minis, 2 E-minis for some big swings. 4R, 50 points, 60 points. It's just, I don't have any account. I don't have a cash account. I don't have any account that can take on that type of size. So I said, okay, one thought I had was I purchased a 300K eval through Apex, which cost me like $19. I actually think it cost me like $32 because I got it before the sale. And I made that as my leader on the NQ. And then within my Replicanto, because it's got a big drawdown, it's got like 7K of drawdown, and the average trade, like I said, is going to be probably $1,500, $2,000 with the amount of E-minis on a typical scalp. I needed something with a decent drawdown to keep that account as a leader for, and if I blow it, I could just buy another one for $15, $19, but it solves my initial issue of how I was going to copy trade down to the micros. So on my Replicanto, I've got my leader account set to that 300K Apex eval, and then it cross trades within Replicanto. It cross trades to all of my to all of the fundeds, the cash, at the exact position size, because if I'm taking like 5 E-minis, I want it to take 5 micros, and vice versa. And I already have my targets kind of set up. Like on this trade, or I think the trade before that, I have it set to 4 micros, TP1 at 10 points, TP2 at 15 points, stop loss at 15 points. And I can make my adjustments based on the targets that I see. Do you guys know of, I thought that within the chart, within NinjaTrader, I thought there was a feature to cross trade into the micros, but what would you use as your leader? Because I always had my leader as my cash account, my main cash account, because it was always the same. It was always off the the E-minis. So if I was taking 1 E-mini, it would cross trade to my funded accounts at 1 E-mini. Am I doing it the best way possible? And then I was thinking, okay, the benefit of this as well is that obviously, with a good win rate, you're probably going to pass that 300K eval with not that much time. 3 or 4 days of good trades and you're already there. So I figured there's a benefit of getting the eval passed to a funded, and then you just buy another eval at 19 or 30 bucks for the 300K, and you could just kind of start building that way. And again, if you blow it, you blow it. You know, 2 or 3 bad trades, and you're probably close to blowing it based on the position size of that. But it's kind of like the cost of doing business, I think, or the cost of the solution, unless you guys know of something better. If you guys think that I was going to even do a video on it because I kind of thought it was an important topic. My friend uses the sim as... So, okay, so there's my problem with the sim. I have messed around back in the day with the sim, but I was finding a lot of issues where... And this is one reason why I loved always having my cash account as the leader, because the cash account is on the real markets. So if you get filled, you get filled, and then everything gets filled. If you don't get filled, slippage, whatever, it was pretty accurate. What I found with the sim is that it would fill the sim, but then sometimes would not fill my like my cash. I don't know if this makes sense, because I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm like, if it's set to exact execution, it should just take the trade. But if the price for this, where it got in on the sim, is not available, then I don't think they would get me in it unless I have them set to market orders. I don't know. I don't know why, but I always felt like the sim was not the way to go for the leader. But I think everybody agrees that my solution at least works, and you do have the added benefit of if it pans out, you've got yourself some funded a funded 300K account. All right, so the IB low is set 25,674. And IB high is at the 25,774. Doesn't see much around the IB right now. Well, yeah, I guess you got somewhat of a pocket there. All right, let's see. So 15 point. Okay, so my ATM is set right. Now let's go into footprint chart and see what. Give me 1 sec. All right, let me see if there's some bigger targets here for the IB. Right now, we've got right here. Put that down. Right there. So this is an area that is left unbalanced on the slightly higher time frame. So this could be a natural target. I mean, I understand that's a pretty big target. That's 30 points. I don't think I have an ATM. I don't have anything with a 2. I'm gonna have to add that after stream. Like a 2 count on the micro with like a 15-point TP and then like a 30-point TP. Because on this trade, I would love to just target 15 points and then have one run to the 710. So unless this gets balanced out prior to the IB low. Yeah, I'm still... Oh, what happened? Oh, because I flattened everything, so this one went away. Let's set this guy up. Man, the chat is on the spot today. You guys have helped me out on a few things. So I had to flatten my all positions on that trade where somehow got into that long. So that canceled out the ES trade, so that one's still there. And again, it's normal that they balance out the 710s. It's just, to me, it would be fantastic if they didn't, just because it gives me a bigger target. It makes TP1, TP2, or I should say TP1 on the IB trade, just that much more high probability when you get a nice high target for the market that wants to balance out. But, you know, typically for moves, it balances out a market. It's an auction theory, so it balances that out and then makes its move. It's all pretty common. Kind of a fun day here trading today. A little bit more action packed than yesterday. The sim usually gets better fills. Key says my copier can't use the sim as a leader doing cross trades. Okay. I do see the option of in Replicante to have my leader as a sim. So I don't think that would be an issue. But I also kind of like the fact of working towards a goal with your leader account. You know, you get that funded, and that's a 300K account that, which, you know, I get it. It's kind of have to change your position size and everything like that, but it's a pretty easy ratio to figure out. Yeah, Key, I can do that. I mean, so how I have it set right now is I do have it set to like exact quantity, but I can have it do like a pre-allocation, like where, you know, even if it's taken with one e-mini, it could take it with whatever amount of micros or e-minis that I want to either multiply it by or do a pre-allocation or a percentage of risk. There's a bunch of options there. Currently, I'm just using fixed exact position size because my leader is taking the e-minis with the positions, the exact positions that it's taking in the micros on all the accounts. If that makes sense. All right, for tomorrow's stream, so we'll be on tomorrow morning, same time. Tomorrow's morning, I'm going to be giving away a code for 1 free month of the Signal service on the new portal and a masterclass, which is both coming out on the 1st. So you might want to stick around for that. Obviously, if you're already a member in the Signal service, just let me know and I'll give you a code for the volume masterclass. use the washroom really quick. Let's just take a look at the ES. What's the ES doing? All right, we got some movement on the ES. Let's see. But I'll skip the bathroom break because I have a feeling that this might come sooner than later. Now we did tap into TP2 yesterday, so we did balance out some volume there. So I'll make sure to monitor this to see how, let's see how the reaction is, or what it's left out there, I should say. So currently we've got this left somewhat unbalanced. We've got this left way unbalanced. So both of these are areas the market could want to filter through, unless it taps in prior to that. Let's jump down to the 1 minute. Now when I do that with the 1 minute, it always, I lost my circles. Which means the NQ is going to be here. I think I could probably manage the NQ. Let's see what happens here. That's good point, Steph, about the trailing drawdown. That is a good point. Because obviously once you start getting into profit, well, I guess depending on how the trade's going, how the trading is going for you. But yeah, that brings up a good point. But like yesterday, or I forgot what day it was, where they announced the 90% off sale. So I purchased another 300K eval just to have as a backup to my leader. So if for some reason in the future it gets blown before it, which again, for it to get blown, trading's got to be bad anyways. So, I'm going to be down on everything, which I don't foresee is the case, but anything can happen in trading. In that scenario, if either I pass the eval or I blow it for one reason, and I got that backup on deck. But that account is at 0, so it did not get filled. That did not take a trade today, which is my leader one. So I'm baffled as to how that happened, but I can't be. And those are the situations where I say the market kind of has a funny way of balancing things out for you. For every mistake you make, sometimes, and that wasn't my mistake, but for every issue, technical issue, mistake that you do wrong, usually the market has a funny way of making it right for you. All right, so the ES now. Okay, I still like it. We don't have anything balancing out there. That's good. All right, I'm gonna try to run to the bathroom really quick. Sorry guys, I had it muted again. So I asked Grok what recommendations it had for some boat names. The only one that I liked on that one was Family Ties, because my wife and my kids love that sitcom. I think they've watched every single rerun. So what I was explaining on the IB High is it seems as of right now that they might be a little bit more interested in the IB High, and it does seem likely because that is a double top on the IB High right here, almost a triple top right here, here, and here. So there's going to be, I think, a lot more liquidity sitting for them at the IB High for today, which might be the reason for this move, in theory. So here's a pocket. I just don't really like necessarily that we kind of balanced out this pocket before leaving, before making the move up. Might get a reaction somewhere right around here-ish, but not the best setup right there. Silent streamer. Oh, that's great. Silent streamer. So I'm going to give you a reason why I've been having so many problems with my mic being muted when I come back on. So I am live streaming this in my new signal service portal as well. But when I go to my be right back, so when I go to use the washroom or fill my coffee or whatever, I put it to that scene and that automatically takes off my microphone. But in the signal service group, it does not. It keeps my microphone attached, which I haven't figured out a solution for that. I'll probably have by tomorrow. But that's why I have to keep muting my mic before I leave, which I don't have to do at the house, and I didn't have to do normally. But now that I'm live streaming on the new signal service portal, which we have confirmed that the lag is much better in the signal service portal, which I knew because I've already heard that many times from people with like through Discord or not. It's not going through the YouTube streaming. It's pretty much a direct connection right to my OBS streaming. I'm not going through any third party to get into YouTube. So the lag is much, much better. Not to say that I think it was such a huge deal, but on a footprint confirmation trade, an IB trade where I'm using a footprint confirmation, if you're getting just a second or two of delay, that sounds a lot better. The first, Nordic the first. Currently have an issue with Yahoo emails. Not me, but the platform itself, site-wide. They're having some issues with Yahoo emails. So they did say it was going to get fixed. Been waiting on that. But it shouldn't be too big of a deal. All right, let's see what else is going on here. So based on that triple top on the IB high, probably going to see a decent reaction here to the IB. Most likely a sweep to the top side, sweep out all those stops and interest there on the volume, and then hopefully see a good footprint confirmation. big picture targets. We got here. We've got here if it doesn't get balanced out. This is not the greatest, actually. It's not the greatest unbalanced area. It's not terrible, but it's not the greatest. More intermediate, which I would think that it's going to tap into prior, but that's super intermediate. That's going to want to tap into. So these three areas right here all put you above the 15 points that we're looking for. So this is just to get some added confidence. Or if you want to stay in the trade a little longer. If we get a trade. Yeah, I'm looking at it, Greg. I'm looking at it. I mean, I kind of gave you guys my my thought process already on the IB high today. It's pretty much a triple top there. It's going to be a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume sitting up there. Just my biggest thing here is going to be is how big is the wick or the sweep? How big the sweep is going to be? Because we also do have this big juicy area of volume sitting right up here that the market might want to contend with. We got a 15-minute level here at the 25,792. So we got some things to think about, which is good. I'd rather be in this position than not have anything to think about. Now, if you're asking me, Greg, about resting limit order, so the resting limit order has a very good win rate. Okay, so just right off the bat, I mean that could technically almost be your own. Sorry, guys. That was loud. So they're doing fire alarm testing here, so bear with me if that was very loud. That was much longer than the first one. What was I getting at? Resting limit order. So the resting limit order, you're looking for one trade a day. It's probably going to give you a decent win rate as well with that 15-point stop, 15-point take profit. Now, the issue with today is that it is a very high liquidity area on the IB high, which it normally is. But today, I think even a little bit more because you've got that triple top scenario here where you've had multiple scenarios where shorts were in play, and now they might be in a position where either they get out of their position or they get stopped out on their position. So the sweep could be a little bit more than 15 points. I can't tell you exactly, but and then as far as unbalanced volume above it, if we look at it from a top-down approach, $779s. 779. Okay, that's not bad. That puts you about 5 points higher than that, so that's not too bad there. So it's the 779s, and then obviously this pocket right up here. And now they're banging somewhere. That's annoying. Ooh, unbalanced. Travis, you definitely you definitely got a contender on that one. Definitely have a contender on that one. Definitely putting that on my on the list of possibilities. Unbalanced. I love it. That's good. Travis, I think you were the one that. Oh boy. Sorry, guys. I have no control over that. Travis, I think you were the one that you were one of the three that won the Apex eval. Have you started trading with it yet? Have you got it yet? All right, so it looks like they're going to want to balance out 748. Let's see if they come for the 739s. Maybe there's enough fuel to get us to the IB high. Let's see. Should be pretty violent though. Yeah, I think the 50K overall is your best. Is the best. I mean, depending on your trading strategy, but if you're somewhat trading like me with the typical 10 to 15 points on the NQ, 3 to 5 points on the ES, I think the 50K is fits just right. Let me check because I think that code needed to be used by the 31st. So hold on, let me take a look. I thought I put it in the email. Oh no, code expires January 31st, 2026. I'm afraid to turn the mic on because that horn keeps blasting in my ear. All right, we can get rid of this guy. Now we'll just keep looking to see. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen an IV trade, at least during stream. I'm still here in front of the charts and just hovering over the mute button in case that fire alarm goes off again. Let's see if we get the push here. Come on, markets. Here we go. There's a tap. All right, that was a good footprint confirmation there. Not seeing the quick follow through though. Doesn't look too good. So that's the only issue with those triple, quadruple tops sometimes, is that when are they going to break? But got the footprint confirmation, so followed my rules, and I'm in. We'll see what happens. Doesn't look good though. All right, stopped out. Stopped out on that one. Well, that's a bummer. And I got this. Well, that was a bummer. Let's see how it reacts here to the 15-minute. Right now, they left here unbalanced, which is about 10 points. $778. It's about a 10-point trade there. Let's wait for this 1 minute to close here. I'll take another stab. Suck this wrist down to right here. And is there any other better targets that I can look for? I don't want to get too greedy. Don't want to get greedy. Let's see what happens here. 78 is obviously a very simple target in my mind. That would be pretty easy. That's only about 4 points. You could retest the IB low. I'm gonna get a bounce right here. Let's see if this 15-minute level now might be support. Let's see if we can break through that. I think we got a good shot at it. And then some bigger targets. My TP is in a pretty good spot for some bigger target, which I know is only 15 points, but I think I would look for any opportunity under the 778 to go to break even. If I can break through that level. Okay, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. God bless it. So if we get the push here, gets through that, the IB low, which could probably give us a little bit of a bounce there. So my break even's in a kind of a tricky spot here, but just don't want to. Probably could have just taken my 10 points. I've been done with the day. Not the greatest place to put your break even just because of the IB low. You know, obviously you're going to have, it's going to be a high volume area. Let's see if we can get a nice little reaction here. One little push. Don't have many targets underneath there to go for. Well, I guess I got the 739s. That might be actually a better. Let's do that, and then let's bring this to at least 5 points in profit. All right, now broke through the IB low, and let's lock in 10 points here. And then let's go for that bigger target if we can. I know it's asking for a lot, but I think I would have had my 15 points too. That's okay. Let's see if we can get this bigger target here. Come on. Come on. All right. I think I could have got my 15 points on that retap of that area that I had marked off there, but and it's going to probably go. All right, guys, I'm going to call it for the stream today. This fire alarm's driving me nuts. It's piercing my ears, and I know it's got to be super annoying on stream. So if there's obviously, for my signal service members, if there's any setups here, which I do have, I'm looking at one here at the bottom end of that move to the upside that I should be posting here shortly. But with that, I will see you guys here tomorrow. Decent day of trading. Three setups, high probability. All three of them. Well, I guess 2.5 of them worked out because one went to TP1. Obviously, the IB trade did not work out for me this morning, but at least was able to capture, I think, 9 out of those 15 points that I lost. So all in all, a decent day of trading. If you guys join the stream tomorrow, remember I'm going to be giving out a code for a free month of the new signal service portal and a volume masterclass course. So tune in tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.